Coming up on this episode of Freedom from Fire. Cold weather is upon us and frigid temps have crept in. We'll discuss ways you can keep warm and safe in the winter. And do you have what it takes to be a Philly firefighter? We'll find out as we speak with members from our department's recruitment division. Stay tuned to Freedom from Fire. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Freedom from Fire. I'm your host, Fire Commissioner Adam Thiel. Here at Freedom from Fire, we aim to improve your quality of living by giving you fire and life safety information. We also introduce you to our local safety partners. In the first half of our show today, we'll focus on cold weather. I'll give you some safety tips and then speak to an American Red Cross manager about home fires during the winter months. Later in the show, I'll talk to members of our recruitment division to find out how they find our next generation of firefighters and paramedics. But before we get to our guests, here are some cold weather safety tips. First, let's keep space heater safety in mind. Use electric space heaters with automatic shutoff switches and non-glowing elements. Remember to keep all heat sources at least 3 feet away from furniture and drapes. Next, keep your home draft-free. Make sure your home is well insulated by installing storm windows or covering windows with plastic from the inside to keep cold air out. Having weather stripping around your doors and windowsills helps to keep the warm air inside. In case the power goes out, have extra blankets, sleeping bags, and warm winter coats. Make sure you think about others. Don't forget to check on elderly or disabled relatives and neighbors. And of course, bring your pets inside. Take special care when you're outside. Avoid overexertion when shoveling snow. Use caution and take breaks. Wear a hat and cover your mouth with a scarf to reduce heat loss when outdoors. To find more winter weather tips, check out ready.gov/winter-weather. Now it's time for our first guest. Mr. Michael Kiley Zufelt, or Mike Z to us, is from the American Red Cross, and he's here to give us his perspective on the tragic effects of home fires, especially during the winter months. He is the Senior Disaster Program Manager in the Disaster Cycle Services Department. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Thanks for making the trip. So I think we all know the Red Cross, one of our really critical partners here in the city of Philadelphia and the entire region. Tell us a little bit about the Disaster Cycle Services Division.
Sure. So what the Disaster Cycle Services team does is we deliver all aspects of what the Red Cross calls disaster cycle services, which include preparedness and education information, response, so those amazing volunteers who are out helping your teams at 2 o'clock in the morning for folks who are experiencing fires and other emergencies, and also our recovery teams as well. All of those are housed within our Disaster Cycle Services team.
And then what do you do? What is your role as part of that team?
So within the team, as I said, we're addressing all 3 of those areas, and my role as the Senior Disaster Program Manager is to coordinate the efforts of our disaster program managers that we consider to be subject matter experts in the areas of things like logistic and mass care, so opening shelters and providing feeding for clients during larger scale events, and also our preparedness team, our Regional Disaster Coordination Center, our call center here in the city of Philadelphia, which handles calls not only for our region, but also for many other regions around the United States as well, and also our workforce engagement, mobilizing those volunteers when events occur and making sure that they have the training that they need. So I work with the 4 people in charge of those areas and make sure that we're able to support our geographic disaster program managers and specialists who each have a specific area of our region to address in delivering all 3 of those areas of the disaster cycle services.
And remind everybody what the Red Cross, this region encompasses for the Red Cross.
So we cover 17 counties here in eastern Pennsylvania. We go from the southern border at Delaware, all the way up to the northern border of New York. As I said, it's 17 counties, and we're broken up into 5 chapters. The Philadelphia area is part of our southeastern Pennsylvania chapter, which includes the city and county of Philadelphia, plus Montgomery and Delaware counties.
Okay. And I know you all are busy in all of those areas, certainly here in Philadelphia.
Indeed. Yeah, we have probably between 650 and 900 responses in a given year. It will fluctuate, but it's pretty much consistent within that area, and they are spread out across our region. Of course, about probably close to 50% of our responses, though, do take place here in Philadelphia and in the immediate counties around us.
So you've talked about a lot of the services that the Red Cross provides, not just during disasters that everybody sees on the news, but even some of the daily disasters we have here in Philadelphia. And of course, we specifically want to talk a little bit about home fires. What's a typical response of the Red Cross in concert with the Philadelphia Fire Department to a home fire?
So what we would do is we typically would get a call from the fire department to let us know that an event had occurred and there was a family that was going to be potentially displaced as an event or as a result of the fire. We would send out a team that would meet with the families and coordinate a recovery program for them. Our goal as an organization is to provide emergency needs, to provide for the emergency needs of those individuals. So making sure that they have a place to stay, that they have food to eat, and that they have clothing to wear in the immediate aftermath of the fire. And then we work with our case managers. Some of those are paid staff, some of those are volunteer staff, on the more long-term recovery needs of the clients that we come into contact with as a result of the fires.
And then some folks might be wondering, are those services free? Do you have to pay for those, or how do folks access that?
All of the services that the Red Cross offers, whether it's our preparedness programs or whether it is in response to a family that's been affected by a fire or other disaster, those are totally free services. But
they cost money somewhere, and so the Red Cross is very dependent on donations, right?
Absolutely. They do cost money. Obviously, we provide direct financial assistance to the clients who were affected by the fires to help them to meet those emergency needs. And it's mostly through the donated dollar that the Red Cross is able to do that. So we are very careful to make sure that we're making the best decisions that we can in terms of how those monies are spent. Since it's not technically our money, it's your money and the rest of the community's money that we're using in these situations.
And everybody can really help with this important mission by donating, and I'm sure if you just type in Red Cross, you can find all those different ways.
Yeah, if you just type in redcross.org, there's a donate button right up there at the top. And you know, when something large happens, like Harvey and Irma and those incidents, a lot of people see the Red Cross and see what the Red Cross is doing in those situations. And while I would have to say our media, especially in this area, does a great job in pointing out to folks when we are on the scene with your teams out in Philadelphia and in the other areas of these in our region, a lot of times people don't think about the Red Cross being there on a day-to-day basis. It's more the large-scale events that they're thinking about. And those fires, as you well know, are happening 3, 4, 5 times a day here in the city of Philadelphia.
We average about seven structure fires a day.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a lot of fires that are happening. That's a lot of folks who need help. And those donated dollars coming in every single day are what allows us to do that.
That's great. It's an important mission. So have you, and I know you have, but you know, this takes a real emotional toll. It's
absolutely.
If you haven't experienced a fire before, it's a very impactful event. And we have members of our fire department who've had home fires, and I know you and your team interact with a lot of folks after that's happened. What are some of the things emotionally, what's some of the kind of support that people need and they ask for, and how can we all kind of pitch in for that?
Right. Well, and you're absolutely right. It is one of the, if we're not helping folks on the worst day of their life with relation to the fire that's happened in their homes, it's certainly one of the worst days they've ever experienced. And you know, we want to make sure that we're being the most compassionate people that we can possibly be in dealing with those situations and helping those folks navigate that difficulty. And yeah, absolutely, it is not an easy thing to go out there and see the the devastation that has taken place and what these folks are dealing with as a result of the fire. So we do the best we can to prepare our paid and volunteer staff before they even go out into the field and try and assist clients with providing them with training. One of our great programs that we had is called Psychological First Aid, where they can not only be aware of, because of different signals that the clients may be giving off of some of the challenges that they're going through, but also to be self-aware as helpers. We're not going to be able to provide services and assistance for somebody if we're not taking care of ourselves first. Right. So we need to be able to know that we're okay as we're working to meet the needs of our clients. So we make sure that our staff and volunteers are trained on how to recognize those signs and how best to proceed when those things happen.
And where do people go when they've lost their home and their possessions?
So one of the things that we found in our history as an organization is probably the most comfortable, immediate thing for people to do is to go somewhere that they're familiar with. If there's a family member or a friend or a neighbor that's close by that they can at least initially stay with, that's probably the best place for them in many cases. But there's other options as well. As I said, we provide financial assistance to the clients. If they choose to use that for a hotel room, they can do that as well. We also have a unique facility here in the city of Philadelphia called the RedCross House. It's at 40th and Powelton Streets, and that is another option that clients in this area have, should they have a fire or other emergency, is to stay there rather than going to a hotel, which is what clients that are provided assistance for most Red Crosses or all other Red Crosses across the United States. That's where they would end up if they didn't have family or friends to stay with.
And of course, the Red Cross's mission isn't just response and recovery. We spend a lot of time together and with your team doing smoke alarm installations and smoke alarm blitzes. And you know, we really do work hand in hand. We rely on Red Cross volunteers a lot to get those smoke alarms out there and installed.
We do. We're working right now on gearing up. Well, we've been doing these regular events with your teams for a couple of years now. We're really working up for a national effort that we have coming up in the spring. It's called Sound the Alarm. We'll be doing at least a couple of events here in Philadelphia. The event itself is from April the 28th until May the 13th, and we know that our big Philly event is going to be on Friday, May the 4th. So we're working to bring in more volunteers and coordinate with your team to make sure we can reach as many people as possible.
So everybody stay tuned on social media, on our social media accounts and the Red Cross's social media accounts, and more about that. So. Absolutely. With everything we've talked about, what is the most important thing you want our citizens to remember when they're faced with a disaster?
Actually, I would say the most important thing they can do is think about it before they're faced with it. Preparation and preparing before the event occurs is probably one of the most important things you can possibly do. If you think about just about every other aspect of your life, how do you make sure that you're going to do the best that you can when a situation arises, whether it's studying for a test in school when you're in 5th grade, or practicing for a piano recital, or planning for your retirement, or your kids going to school, or 50th birthday party for your husband. How do you do that stuff? You plan ahead of time and you prepare. And the other aspect of fires too is that it is the only disaster emergency event that we can actually take steps to prevent from happening, and making sure you're as educated as you can be on how to prevent those from happening is very important.
That's great. As one of our great sports icons once said, it is about practice.
It is.
So, thank you. Thanks again for joining us today, Mike.
My pleasure, Commissioner. Thank you for having us.
All right, we're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll find out how everyday citizens, just like you and me, become Philadelphia firefighters. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Freedom from Fire. I'm your host, Philadelphia Fire Commissioner Adam Thiel. You know, I'm so proud of the many men and women in the Philadelphia Fire Department. It takes some work to find them. So let's learn about what it takes to find the next group of firefighters and paramedics here for the Philadelphia Fire Department. So here with me from our recruitment division today, Captain Rob Wilson, firefighter Orlando Rivera, and firefighter Candida Graham. How is everybody today?
Great, thank you.
Great. Thanks for taking the time to join me today and talk about, we're always recruiting. We always want to make sure that anything we do, any community engagement, has a recruiting aspect to it. And Cap, you're new to the unit, so you're certainly not new to the fire department, experienced veteran. What are some of the things as you get into recruitment now that you're thinking about, and really how do we tap into that next generation?
Well, first of all, thank you, Commissioner, for allowing us to be here with the recruitment unit for Freedom from Fire. And yes, I am newly appointed to the recruitment unit, but actually this is my first day at the unit, so nothing like being under pressure.
Great way to start.
Right, right. A pressure-cooked situation here with this interview, right? But actually, when I first got on 25 years ago, there was no active recruiting unit for the Philadelphia Fire Department. So my only avenue of finding out about the recruitment unit was through either newsprint or listening to the radio. So the unit itself now is an active unit which works 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. It's staffed with myself as the unit manager, 2 firefighters and 2 lieutenants. So we're looking forward to having a great year in 2018. Because the Philadelphia Fire Department is an equal employment employer, the recruitment's goals is to provide the department with a diverse pool of candidates to choose from. We accomplish this by consistently promoting the department and our profession in a positive light. There's many ways that we do this. Through community organizations, through community outreach, going to different schools and talking to the individual students, community affairs and such. So,
you know, it's so important, you mentioned it, it's so important for us as a fire department to have a diverse and inclusive work environment and really have our firefighters and medics and EMTs and our civilian support staff, our dispatchers, everybody representing all the communities that we serve, representing our entire city. So this recruitment mission is really critically important. Candida, what are some of the things that people, as they're preparing, if they're interested in being a firefighter or a medic or an EMT, how can they prepare, you know?
Well, because the application isn't readily available all of the time, we have a job interest form on our website, phila.gov/fire, and we encourage people, if they're interested, to go online and fill out an interest form. So when the application becomes available, we'll let them know. We don't want anyone to miss the opportunity of joining our fire department. But in the meantime, our office is always available for them to call us and talk to them or answer any kind of questions they may have about what we do.
And of course on social media?
On all of the social media, yes.
Site for recruitment, right?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we're all over the place.
So if you just check out Philadelphia Fire Department recruitment, you'll find those unique sites for recruitment, right, plus our normal fire department sites.
Yes.
Great. So Orlando, what are the requirements for becoming a firefighter with the Philadelphia Fire Department?
Well, the requirements to become a Philadelphia firefighter are pretty straightforward. You basically need a high school diploma or a GED equivalent, to be 18 years old, and a driver's license. Those are the only requirements that we require in order to initially become a Philadelphia firefighter. Afterwards, while you're in our academy is like world renowned, one of the best, second to none training facility in the world. They receive a multitude of training while they're at the academy and a multitude of certifications. They also receive, once they come out of the academy, on-the-job training that they can only specifically get while they're embarking on becoming a firefighter. So
you don't have to have any training in advance to become a firefighter. We give you all the training.
We give you 100%, excuse me, 100% training at the Philadelphia Fire Academy.
And you earn while you learn.
You earn while you learn. We actually offer 2 careers. It's a dual profession, a dual career. We offer EMT and firefighter. The way it works is you actually have to become an EMT prior to even moving on to the fire side. The EMT within itself is a career and a very good job, but we offer them both.
No, that's great. And the academy, Candida, what can people expect from that academy experience over 6 months? The demands of that academy experience?
So the demands are very vigorous while you're there, for a good reason, because when we go out to do what we do, you're going to work very hard. But along with being there, you're going to gain a brotherhood and sisterhood that you really can't find anywhere else besides being with our fire department. So, I mean, you're going to work hard, but it's going to give you something really good to feel about once you've completed the fire academy.
And then, so we heard you don't have to have, 18, high school diploma or GED. You don't have to have gone to college. Certainly, we have a lot of veterans.
Yes, we do.
Who end up in the workforce. So talk a little bit about our veteran. I know veterans were definitely reaching out to veterans and a lot of different recruiting cohorts.
Well, one of the advantages of being a veteran is that because you served your country, you're afforded 10 points extra when you take the initial exam to become a Philadelphia Fire Department. So for instance, if you were to score 90 with the 10 extra points, you'll obtain 100 as your score, which is an excellent score. So that will put you in advance of a lot of other people who have also taken the test and do not have the 10 points. We also used to supply 3 points for EMTs, and I believe it was, and they could correct me if I'm wrong, for having your Firefighter 1 certification.
That's correct.
But I don't think we no longer do that.
Yeah, that's all actually. And one of the things that's important to mention, we do recruitment, the hiring process and all of that is actually done through
By
the
the
Civil
city.
Service Commission.
Exactly.
So that's, we're always out there trying to find the best talent to represent all the great things about our city. And we're also always looking for folks who are bilingual.
Yes.
That's correct.
Because 140 some odd languages, I think, spoken in the city. So
That's correct. That's
whatever
correct.
language you speak, definitely consider us as a career too.
That's correct.
A lot of people tend to think that bilingual just means, English and Spanish, but bilingual that we recruit and seek is any second language, whether it's Russian, Cambodian, Asian, any other second language benefits the fire department as a firefighter.
Well, it's one of the great
Absolutely.
things about this city is you have all
Diverse.
those languages and all that diverse in the culture, so that really is important for us. So you don't have to have college, but can you have a college degree? Does that, do we recruit people out of college? Do people go to college first?
We do, and one of the things about recruiting people from college, and we know they already have set in their mind potentially what their career field may be, but the fire department is not just a job, it is also a career with great benefits. So we try to instill in those individuals that maybe if the career that they're choosing isn't working out for them, consider the fire department as a second option.
And we have a need for a lot of different backgrounds and all that kind of expertise.
Absolutely.
I mean, we really are looking to create a department that, 360 degrees, we have everything covered, people from all over the place, doing
Absolutely.
all kinds of things. And
Absolutely.
We also offer, as a fire department, we also offer college tuition reimbursement. So we stress it when we go and speak to a lot of the college students. A lot of times individuals may start off in college and things happen financially or personally or anything like that. Well, we try to build the fire department as an excellent alternative or plan B. We encourage everybody to seek a higher education, but realistically, that's not always possible in all aspects of life. So we stress to them, even though you may get a job with the fire department, that you still can proceed your education through our college tuition reimbursement program.
we'll help pay for it.
Yep.
So we are all firefighters. And it's important to remember, Candida, women, absolutely, we have some incredible women on the Philadelphia Fire Department. So women who are thinking, well, that's not really something I might do. We have great women firefighters here and medics in the Philadelphia Fire Department. So it's anybody can really get into this profession.
I say go for it. When I came out of school, I did a little bit of college. This wasn't, excuse me, this wasn't my intended profession, but when I came on and joined the fire side, because I actually worked as a civilian for the fire department, it opened my eyes just up to a whole new world, and I'm very pleased with what I've accomplished and everything that I've gotten to do and see since I've been here.
So it's, I think you said it very well. Go for it.
Yes.
Check out the requirements, check out our website, reach out to our recruitment team, watch for our recruitment team because you all are out there at events all over the city all the time. So like you said, go for it. And as we like to say, become part of the hottest team in town.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
thank you all again today. Thanks for
Thank
what
you.
you
Thanks
do
for having us.
and be safe out there.
Thank you.
So remember, if you would like to find out more about LaSalle TV, you can check out our social media sites. And if you are interested in learning about the Philadelphia Fire Department, you can visit our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and web pages. I'd like to again thank our guests for joining us today, and I also want to thank all of you for tuning in and watching. So until next time, remember, fire is everyone's fight. Stay safe and remain free from fire. Thank you.